You've come to the right place for your weekly dose of motivation. And as you know, Stink, we get a lot of letters on the show.
Do you know?
Yeah, for the year 2023, we get a lot of physical mail, and we're willing to address them. Your concerns, as always. They start a lot of times the same way.
It's sad, man.
It's not sad. It's letter. This is when I read a letter, I put it on my home as well.
Okay.
Dear Wilds, love the show. You know, raising twins can be hard. Twice the fun, but also double the trouble. When Ryan and Brian get after it, sometimes I feel like I need more motivation than a weekly segment provides. Help! Sincerely, Don. Well, Don, Dusty and I saw this letter, and we said, what could we do? And Dusty said, well, why don't we just send Don part of our patented... It's the Budless Protein Isolate. It's 22 grams of protein and 200% of your daily needed motivation and inspiration. So if you ever need it, every morning I wake up, I have some of this.
I do too.
It's great. I throw in a few blueberries. It's fantastic. You can get it at your local GNCs and Vitamin World.
Gluten-free, too.
It is gluten-free.
I'm like you, Wilds. We drink it every morning. That's why we're such a joy on this show.
That's
Nick, you
100%.
need some of this. You need some of this, but you wouldn't be so dark if you ate your Budless stuff. All right, let's get to it. At number 3, Jalen Hurts. Jalen, you had a phenomenal regular season. Heck, if you didn't get hurt and miss those 2 games, you might have been the MVP. But despite that, there's still some non-believers out there, one of whom is sitting right across the table from me because in your first playoff game last year, you threw 2 picks and had a fumble, too, in a bad loss to Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. So if you go out against the Giants, a team you guys beat by 26 points in December, and lay an egg, that regular season, it'll be a footnote.
Correct.
People will focus on what you didn't do in the playoffs, and that will become a narrative. And you are up for a contract extension this offseason. And Philadelphia, if you play poorly in this playoff game and lose, Philadelphia might be a bit hesitant to give out that contract. Because remember, just a few years ago, Carson Wentz had one great season. They paid him the big money. Obviously a mistake. So, Jalen, I do believe in you, buddy.
Okay.
Go out there and get it done. All right, at number 2, Josh Allen. Josh, you were supposed to win the MVP this year. You were supposed to win the Super Bowl this year. MVP's not going to be there. We'll let that slide. But Super Bowl, if you don't get it done, there are people waiting to pounce on you, buddy. There are people waiting to pounce on you and me, to be honestly. So just go out there. Last week you had your bad game. Someone on this show has said you're a roller coaster ride. All right, so you didn't play that well last week. It's time to go up. If you lose to Joe Burrow, there's a debate. Who's the second best quarterback in the league? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Joe Burrow? If you lose to Burrow, it won't be a debate. It'll just be Joe. All right, so go out there and get it done. When you're expected to win the Super Bowl, you can't go out in the second round. And Josh, you know I believe in you. At number 1, Dak Prescott for the second straight year. Now, Dak, second straight week. Last week, you and the Bud List collaborated to move mountains. All right? You were motivated to the nth degree. I didn't even know that the Bud List, juice had that much power.
Protein.
All right? Protein, yes. But you went out there and you were phenomenal. But at the end of the day, it was a wild card game against an 8-win team. You really did what you were supposed to do. I hate to say it, but you did what you were supposed to do. If you go out there, a lot of people, don't expect you to win. But don't go out there and play poorly. If you go out there and have some turnovers and you're a big part of the reason you don't get it done, then that narrative, can Dak lead us to the Super Bowl? Can Dak really win the big game? That will be attached to you. But if you go out and play well and pull off this upset, you'll not only be the first guy to lead Dallas to double-digit wins in the regular season. For the first guy since Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. You will be the first guy to win on the road since 1992 and get to the NFC title game since 1995. Dak, glory awaits you, my man. You just got to go out and get it done. And I'm starting to believe in you, Dak.
Excellent. I apologize to the audience. An hour and 5 minutes ago, I said I got a sneak peek at the Bud list, and it's the best we've had. I was wrong. It's the right names, but obviously in the wrong order. And I'll get to my clarification in a moment. But Brew has boxed himself in on these poor Dallas Cowboys because called them frauds. F-game rant is still going viral as we speak, but now he desperately needs them to win because he can't have me be right about more things regarding the Niners and that side of the bracket, the Chiefs on the other side of the bracket. So he's trying to overdo it by over-motivating Dak. When he and I both know the player under the most duress and under the most pressure this weekend is one Josh Allen. Because Bruce said himself, I don't know why it's pointing at me, but that's fine. Bruce said himself that if Josh Allen wins this game, this is to decide who the second best quarterback in football is. Yeah. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Let's go through a few headlines this year. We'll start with Stephon Diggs. 1 goal, lift Super Bowl. Okay, that's fair. What'd the Athletics say? Oh, the Bills were, this is all from August and September. Bills remain Super Bowl favorites. Bleacher Report, where are they at? Josh Allen's MVP pick over Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. ESPN, Bills start the season as Super Bowl favorites. CBS, Bills Super Bowl odds improve after blowout win. Josh Allen's MVP odds trend up. Yahoo, odds keep moving on Josh Allen for MVP, but they're still not short enough. CBS, I think this was our friend Adam Shine. How much is Josh Allen close the gap on Patrick Mahomes, or is he better? Spoiler alert, he said he's better. Bleacher Report, Josh Allen touted as best player in the NFL and win over Packers. And now we sit here, Brew. Wow. And if they, for the second straight year, go out in round 2, and the highest mountaintop they reached was getting blown out in the AFC title game in 2020, everyone who had the gall, as Brew would say, the audacity, the unmitigated gall, to pick this team as the overwhelming favorites, and this guy is the MVP, will have a reckoning, as will he. So no one is under more duress than one Josh Allen, Chris Broussard.
Wow. Well, look, you heightened it a little bit, all right? You bring out all those headlines. I didn't write any of those headlines. I picked him to win MVP, but I've never said he's better than Patrick Mahomes. But yes, he does need to win, but still, Dak's facing Mr. Irrelevant. I hate to even call him that now, but Mr. Irrelevant, and so he's number 1. Yes.
Oof, man, I'll tell you what, that escalated quickly. Okay. Thank goodness. I'm gonna soften it up a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna go teacher and pupil. Okay. This, you know how you create a great franchise? You create a great movie franchise like The Karate Kid. How? You bring Daniel LaRusso back to coach the teacher. Oh. Andy Reid, the teacher. Doug Pederson, the pupil. Remember, Doug played for Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Doug coached for Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Now, Doug Pederson taking on Andy Reid. This is all about the pupil becoming the master. Oh. And so, Doug Pederson, it's on you. You've got a team that's an 8.5-point underdog. You've got a team that's not quite ready right now, but you've got a team that believes in itself. You've got a team that you've motivated. Andy Reid, 7-1, coming off a bye in the playoffs. 27-4 lifetime, coming off a bye. This is a huge task. If you win this one, you solidify yourself as not one of the great coaches in this playoffs, but one of the great coaches that has coached in playoffs.
Wow.
Pretty good.
So the pressure's on Andy Reid. You're motivating Doug Pederson. Pressure's on Andy Reid and maybe Nick Wright.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to add Mike McCarthy to the Bud list, Brew, and I'm going to give you a compliment.
Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, because Mike McCarthy, Dak played so well, the defense played so well, we didn't really have to talk about the kicking fiasco, the 4 missed extra points. In fact, everybody, Mike McCarthy, Nick Wright, was like, no, we'll stick with Money Mayor. Here's what Dak Prescott said after the game. Take a listen. What happens? And what did Bruce say when we did this question? hey, I'd sign somebody.
Yep.
Which they ended up doing. Tristan Vizcaino. Now, supposedly it's just an insurance policy, Brew, because they want to see how Maher does in practice. Well, who cares how well he does in practice? I'm sure he's going to do fine. It's the pressure of the game that I'm interested in. So, Brew, are you keeping Vizcaino or taking him to San Francisco?
I'm taking him to San Francisco.
You are?
Absolutely.
And if he misses one kick, you're putting him in?
Yep. If it's like the first kick, and
But you
a
can't- but
field
you
goal is
can't-
different.
You can't. You're not going to activate him.
That's
He's on
what
the
they're
practice
saying.
squad.
No, they're saying they're going to cut a player from the roster
I
and
would,
carry
I
two
would,
kicks.
remove, I would remove a position.
They're getting rid of a poor
The kicker is
linebacker.
that
Some
important.
linebacker's going to lose his job because Brett Maher
No.
can't make
The
kicks.
kicker is
You're going
that
to lose the
important.
game.
Well, then cut Maher. It's a half measure. I thought you weren't a half measures guy.
That's why I put him on the bud list.
Okay.
I almost put Maher at the top of the bud list, but I was fingering
You
through
thought-
the bylaws,
Right.
and I'm not able to put kickers on the bud list.
Yeah.
Oh.
You should have that
I was
memorized
good.
for the record.
I know. It's my turn.
That would have been too,
But yeah,
that'd
I
put too
would've-
much pressure on him. He would have folded.
Right.
Well, Brock,
I
I'll
ain't
play
wanna put
Dak
more
on
pressure on
Sunday. We discuss next. First things first.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.